Hey everybody. I know I said this one wasn't going to be late, and I'm sorry that it is. We ended up having house guests for the week, and I've been entertaining them and lost track of time and didn't make the video. I apologize, but here we go. I gotta keep it short. In keeping it quick, I want to bring up the most interesting thing in the episode last night, what I found to be the most interesting. And that was Rick's line after the first commercial break when Herschel was bandaging up his hand. Which was this. When after Herschel said that everything they had been trying to keep out, all the murder and mayhem and whatnot, Rick responded with that it's always been there. Now I find this interesting because I don't think he just meant the zombies or the virus or even the death, because this happened just after somebody murdered two other people, after Tyrese behaved monstrous and then Rick even more monstrous by beating the shit out of him. I think Rick is referring to the horrible, violent nature in people, the kind of nature he's seen in himself, in Shane and the governor, that it's always been there, the potential always has been. It's just been stewing for the right time to come out. And this is finally that time. As for who's going to live through this virus and the zombification that can follow it, I'm just not sure. I don't think Herschel's going to get infected. I think he's going to live past this for now. I'm not sure about Glenn. I've read a lot of things saying that they wouldn't dare kill him, but it might be interesting if they did. Although, I know it's opposite the comics that he's not supposed to live for so very long, and Andrea is, and she's already dead, so they may have flip-flopped those two characters on purpose. As for who killed Karen and David, I have to admit I hadn't really guessed that it would be Carol. I thought about it, but I didn't think it was actually her. I was watching the show with a group last night, and someone said that their guess was Carol, and as soon as she said it, I knew she was right. I thought, oh, it's going to be revealed. It is going to be Carol. That actually makes sense. And then it turned out to be true. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. The fact that Carol is getting more and more badass and independent and making these drastic decisions on her own worries me a little. Because what if she ends up being the next Shane? The next person that Rick has to put down, so to speak. Speaking of people that hopefully Rick doesn't have to put down, I really am enjoying the change in Carl, as in how he didn't have to kill that walker last night. He thought about it and Herschel talked him out of it, but he didn't kill the walker, which was an awesome walker, by the way, in the bear trap. Awesome in its brutality, because that walker likely, well, as a person, got caught in the bear trap and died that way, and then as a zombie was able to drag the trap around. Because you would think a walker that got hit by a bear trap would just have its leg ripped off. Walkers are pretty fragile. I suppose the really only other thing to talk about was the gigantic herd that was, I don't know, shortly outside of the prison. Well, I'm not for sure how long, maybe they had been driving an hour or two, but that was a hell of a lot of zombies. I mean, into the thousands. And if that kind of herd is near enough to the prison, and now they have a trace, so to speak, in that group to follow back to the prison, that could spell very bad times. But I gotta stop and give props to Daryl at that scene. Now, I'm not the hugest Daryl fan. He's a good character, and I don't wish to see him dead or anything. I like him being in the show. But he certainly has the best kill in the entire history of the show so far. And it was one of those things that happened pretty quick. No one else in the room caught it until we saw the second episode, the second showing, I should say, and I pointed it out to them. When they first got attacked by the herd, and Daryl went through the sunroof, he threw his knife from the top of the car into a zombie's head, killing it. It started to collapse. He slid down the hood, took the knife from the zombie's head before it finished collapsing, and he finished sliding, so that it was ready in his hand again to jump off the hood of the car. God damn, that was awesome. And I really thought at that part that either Bob or Tyrese were going to die. Especially Tyrese, since he waited around like an idiot, and then finally got out to start hammering the zombies. But apparently he made it through. They didn't make any showcasing of his bite, so he must not have had any. And then two very quick things. The governor's trail having gone cold. There's not much to say about this except that Michonne is wasting her time, and apparently she knows she's wasting her time. For whatever reason that may be, it's uncertain. Could have to tie into the baby and how she doesn't want to be around the baby, but hard to say. What sucks about it for the prison group is that the governor has made himself invisible, so to speak, and could come back at any time. And I gotta say that I actually hope the governor does come back, and if it's not soon, that he comes back on a permanent basis. I'm pretty sure I know that I read somewhere that he's only going to be around for 3 episodes this season, and that sort of supports the theory that he's going to die, but I really hope he doesn't. The governor himself is an excellent character. His City of Woodbury sucked and was a stupid addition to the show, but I love the governor. And the very last thing, of course, is the radio broadcast. As for what it means and who it could be, we have nothing, no idea. There's nothing to go on, except that it means somebody out there has at least enough power and sustainability to be broadcasting something. Or that that's what they focused on, and otherwise they're not doing so well. We don't know. The broadcast barely came through. I didn't make out a single word, really. I thought I heard maybe help or alive, something like that, but it's not even certain. Another of the people I was watching the show with last night suggested 2 things: that the radio broadcast could be the governor, and that he believes Bob could be a plant by the governor. Now, both seem like a possibility, but both also seem like paranoid suspicion, so I don't know if either is true.